Welcome back. Welcome back. We have an interview we've been prepping, and we're going to do it now. We did this interview a little while back. It took us a little bit of time to get the notes together, but here it is. Not everybody wants to come on camera. Sometimes people take time to write an essay, send us an email. Sometimes we have a conversation over email. Sometimes we can only get one question answered. Sometimes they want to have a Zoom conference and just have a general chat. Whatever they want. We want to get the information to you. So we are going to talk about Ron Howard's article. He's the CEO and founder of Mercury Analytics, and this article he did in PR Week. Not exactly presenting any new information. I was not revealed new information. We really just did a deep dive on this article, what he was thinking and why he felt it. So if you read the article, I'm not really presenting any new information. Nothing new was given, but he did take the time generously to walk me through and make sure that I understood his point, and I really appreciate that. So this is the interview with Ron Howard, CEO, founder of Mercury Analytics. The Mercury origin starter. Our story starts with the founder and CEO, Ron Howard, entrepreneur, experienced technology industry leader, and passionate advocate for the development of innovative software and hardware technology. Ron has a history of hands-on corporate leadership at tech companies as employee number one at several startups to CEO managing multi-$100 million public and private corporate transactions. He works for Mercury Analytics. He founded it. It's an analytics company that looks at political issues and provides analysis for them. This was the article that brought my attention to Ron. I think that's right. It comes in PR Week. The name of the article is Deeply Divided Nation, or Are We? We have it completely wrong. There are a few major points that a strong majority of Americans agree on, says Mercury Analytics Ron Howard. It came out November 16th, 2022. And here's roughly what the article says, and this is backed up roughly with the interview. Turns out we are all wrong. America's not divided. A national poll of 1,108 voters conducted by Mercury Analytics, Ron's company, directly following the midterm elections shows that the vast majority of registered voters, regardless of party affiliation, actually agree on the one thing that could genuinely begin to unite us as a country. That one thing could fuel a new American renaissance, providing a way forward on virtually every other issue we face. The problem is that the American people don't know that we all share this profoundly important belief, and until they do, we will remain right where we are, stuck in neutral. Our research shows that 73% of registered voters of all parties believe that the divisions between the Republicans and Democrats are bad for America, and indicate a desire for both parties to work together again to solve our problems. Moreover, 93% of registered voters, including Republicans, Democrats, and independents, say they are more likely to support candidates who promise to act respectfully toward one another and work toward compromise on difficult issues as a way forward. Yet ask Republicans if they think Democrats would support such a candidate, or ask Democrats if they think Republicans would. Our research shows the majority of people in both parties say no. In other words, we want politicians to work together and compromise. We want political discourse to be civil, but the other side, they don't. The result of this disconnect is stagnation and a divided nation. So this is a point some other professors have said. Crystal Ball on Breaking Points and Anna Kasparian on the Young Turks both said this in reaction to Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet on national divorce. And it goes like this. There's no political division. We're not politically divided. There are these national polls that show 73% and 93% of all registered voters say we agree on this issue. We want reasonable gun reform. We want access to abortion. We want our politicians to work together. And so because there are these polls and they show a majority of voters in these polls saying that they have similar mindsets on something, we must conclude, therefore, that division is not real. It's fake. And the only reason we have division is that people don't realize how much we share in common with each other. I've heard this from many people, and many other professors stated. It's not an isolated theory. This was the interview I had with him. He was going over some of the polling questions, and he was talking about how, depending on how you frame the questions of a poll, you can make people more polarized when asking the question or less polarized. We also heard that from pollster Jeremy Zogby, so it makes sense. Here were some of the comments he had, and I took notes. These are my notes. This is not exact quotes. This is notes I took for myself. Something like 80% of Republicans and Democrats and independents, or 90% of them all, would support a politician saying that they see themselves as Americans first and that they're willing to negotiate and compromise in order to get things done. He says that the reason people are polarized is that the media won't report this and will report other stories that keep us at each other, and extreme politicians won't mention this and are rewarded for being more extreme. The more extreme they are, the more attention they get, and therefore the more money. He says that this is the real story, is that the American people are tired of this and are willing to have their politicians work together and compromise. It's just the media and extreme politicians misinformed the public. He says people want compromise, but he saw one video by one conservative that ignored all the liberal ones and was worried that this was a secret. Never mind. That was about another controversy we had. I had David Horowitz on the interview series, and Ron was concerned about that. And I explained to him that we're trying to get people on the right and the left. And, there's a wide divergence in views. But if we're actually going to see how Americans view this topic, we've got to talk to all Americans. I will say this about Ron's point. He's not the only one saying this. There are many other people who have said there can't be division in America because there are all these national polls that show everybody basically agrees on guns and abortion and everything. It looks like that's true. I've seen these polls. People keep pointing to these polls. But I have to ask, you got a poll saying 90% of the public wants their politicians to compromise and work with the other? Okay. That is not reflective of anything I've seen anyone say in any of the 1,000 conversations I've had over the last 10 years. So you have a poll saying that? Okay. I can't fight that. I could just tell you that when I talked to Democrats and I said during the Trump years, why don't you have so-and-so negotiate and agree with Trump? No takers. I've had many conversations with liberals. There is no interest in compromise at all. How dare you? I've also seen conservatives say the same thing. So polls there, I believe in polls, but I also think more polls can provide nuance. I just find that a really hard conclusion to buy. I haven't seen anything like that at all in the years that I've been working on this, but maybe it's true. My other question is, if people want their politicians to work together and negotiate, then why don't they elect those people? Because we haven't. If that's what people want, why aren't they electing those people? Unless maybe just recently people decided that they do want their politicians to negotiate and work together. This story came out, I think, in 2021. 2022. So it's possible that the American people recently came to the conclusion that the polarization was too much, and now they need to walk it back. That could also be true. I don't really have an analysis for how to sum up this information. I just want to provide some data points. And this was our interview with Ron Howard. Thank you very much.